Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts.
My name's Tanya. I'm 36. I was in the Army, and my dates of service was I got in 1999 and I retired March of 2010. My motivation for enlisting was my grandfather was in World War II, and he really instilled into me like service of the country and that you need to take a stand for what you believe in or you're willing to fall, and that America had such pride and such a history, and that was your duty to serve the country. So my mom thought she was good because she had all girls, but from the get-go I was like, I wanted to follow in my grandfather's footsteps, so that's the reason I joined. My task in the Army was in garrison. I worked with weapon system. I was an armament repair specialist. So I worked on everything from a 9mm to big huge tanks to mortars to everything in garrison, but downrange, you do everything else. So you run missions, you do SKTs, you do raids, you do patrols. So you don't do so much your job. I have 3 deployments to Iraq. My first tour was 18 months. My second tour was 15 months. And then my last tour was 1 year. 2003, 2004, and 2006, like around 2006 or so. It really changed me because I was there for the initial invasion. I was there for the taking down of Saddam. I was right there. I was there for the Republican Guard getting out of office, for Saddam's getting executed by hanging. I was there for the first elections. I was there for the first time kids were actually able to walk to school for the first time, and not have to really worry about getting killed and stuff like that. So I got to see Iraq transition from the initial invasion to the first flights back into Iraq, and in there you see how little they have and how they don't have a lot, but yet they're feeding you and they're giving you food, and when you're in their house for a mission, making sure you have drink, and they're so friendly, and it really taught you to appreciate the little things in life and not to be so worried about the big things, and to appreciate everything you have, and not to worry about, I need to make $50,000 for a job. Well, you're only here for a blink of an eye, so you need to be happy with what you do and make a difference with what you do. And money isn't going to buy your happiness. So it really gave me a new perspective on life. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. It was emotional, it was draining, I had fought to stay in. I had fought it to the colonels, and I lost that fight. I had taken it to the Department of the Army, and I lost that fight. The only higher I could take it was to President Obama, and of course, he's really gonna have time to take a look at it. And it was so frustrating because everybody was talking about how my military record is so exceptional, and how I got letters from 4 stars, coins from 4 stars, command sergeant major, sergeant major of the Army, and I have such a beautiful record. I've done so much. I was on 2-man teams with the guys. I worked with I was one of the first females ever to work with the SF downrange. So it hurt so bad because it was like, how can you say I'm all this, but you can't, you can't find a place for me. So it was the hardest thing. It really was. It was really hard because like people had known I was deployed. I had deployed, so I was called baby killer. Random people, like people I grew up with, you know, and that was hard. And then especially because I got hurt downrange, that was hard because my injuries, I covered them up, so you can't see my scars and you can't see like my brain injury and stuff. So I get told, you know, you couldn't handle it. So that was, it was hard because it's like you got to find a new place where you fit in, and it's like starting back from scratch, and you're so much older than everybody else, and you're like, are they even going to give me a chance? Or are they going to be like, hey, you know? So it was really hard. It was really, really challenging, especially I had to do it on my own because there's really no support out there to say, hey, this is how it's going to be. Like, you're used to, like, everybody discipline, integrity is a big thing. And seeing, like, a lot of civilians that their priorities aren't so much about that. And then having to realize, okay, I'm in a different world. Because it is a total different world. And knowing I have to find my place in it now. How I overcame them is, like, I came back to school and I have some friends that are students. From those people, I found out that it was okay for me to restart, and that I was going to have those true friendships, and they were going to help me to adjust to find where, okay, I do belong, you know, and I can have a life outside of the Army. So I don't think it's something that you can say you're done doing, because I think it's a process that you're going to have to do the rest of your life, you know. But I think that's how I got over it. When you know people are accepting of you and that they can see past your faults and see that you may be older, but there's nothing wrong with it, you know, I think that helps. The family. Everybody's a family. You're just one big, huge family. Like, even today, we call each other brothers. We're family, and we would do anything for each other. Very close community. What I don't miss about the military, I would have to say probably the 24-mile road marches. I don't miss that at all. It's like an overnight thing. I think it made me realize that America is truly the best, and that the only thing wrong with America is some of our priorities. And it made me see how so many people look at us like we're so good, and yet there's aspects of them that we need to incorporate, like family is. In like Iraq and Qatar, like family is priority, and you take care of your family. Like in Iraq, I had this guy run up to me, and we were about to shoot him, and he just, our interpreter got over there and, was telling him, stop. And he just wanted to thank us. And it was like, why? Why? And he's like, before we got there, like, he was made to drive a cab for like $1 a day, equivalent of about $1 a day. And he used to be a professor teaching English. Well, when Saddam took power, he could not teach English anymore. And now, because we had taken him out of power, he was going to be able, they were reopening the program at the university, and he was going to be able to go teach English again. And seeing these little kids that, you know, were like wanting to play with you and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, you know, I mean, it just makes you realize what big purpose that you play. And even though it's something so small, like, you're making a difference for somebody's entire life. I think what civilians need to know is that not to believe everything you hear on the media, because they're only telling you a little piece and they're not telling you everything that you need to know. Positive things don't give what is it called, the rating. Like, we did so much positive, and yet all they did was show the negative effects of war. And that, you know, you hear these people want to say that people with PTSD and like the people who have served and been in combat, they're just going to be on a killing spree, because they make sure when a soldier does do that, they make sure they say, hey, he was da da da, and then people automatically are judgmental, saying, oh, you're gonna, you know, and don't judge. I mean, you know, it's just like a fireman who's seen a little kid die. You know, they're going to be affected the rest of their life from that. And to, you know, instead of just saying thank you to veterans, like on Veterans Day, and being fake, like, you really should appreciate everything they do every day, because, you know, they're doing it so that civilians don't have to play that role. And, you know, they're willing, you know, like I was willing, that's how I wanted to die, was I wanted to die in combat serving my country. So I think civilians need to realize that, and to be patient and give us a chance, and that, you know, you might not see the wounds, but the wounds may be there. So don't, help us out, show us a hand. I think just talking with us, not being scared, not being timid, not to like, oh, well, I seen on Nightline that they show that these soldiers just killed all these people and that's what they do. You know, don't believe what you hear. If instead of just automatically assuming and believing, ask somebody. You know, find out straight from somebody who was there. I mean, that's the best way. And just communication. Just don't be scared. Just talk and be friends, you know? I think you got a mixture. I think you got some people who are afraid of how a person's going to react. Are they going to go off? Are they going to, you know, do something? Because the media has made it to all those big killings and stuff have been linked to a soldier who's been in combat. So I think some people, they honestly are just afraid of how the person's going to react. And then I know, like, some of them, of my friends, they don't, because they know I don't want to talk about it, because I don't want to give them my nightmares. You know, so it's a respect thing. And then you got ones that this is what I heard and that's how it was, and I'm not going to listen to anything else. I think they don't realize what the military does until something big happens, and then they're like, oh, we love the military. And then after we go so long with nothing happening again, it's whatever. It's like, oh, it's Veterans Day, Happy Veterans Day, or Memorial Day, Happy Memorial Day. And I think that's more like the government is saying that this is this day and this is how you should act. So I think sometimes some people are just like, you know, I have to be like this. But then if something big happens like 9/11, oh, we love the military, oh my gosh, they're doing so great, and you know what I mean? I think it does get taken for granted. I communicate a lot with the people I served with. I mean, we're family. We still call each other brothers. We just lost one of our brothers just passed away, and you know, one of them actually was able to go to the funeral, and you know, he put a shot glass down for us and a flower down for us. So we're really still tight knit, and we communicate through emails and not too much on Facebook, because a lot of us don't like how other people can see what we are saying. And some of us are starting to use Skype and Google Hangout. That's something we've just recently, because we found out we could actually talk with, like, 3 of us can get together at the same time. So that's how. And we got a couple that we correspond with through actual letters, handwritten letters. We have a couple individuals that they think that's more personal, and that's their only kind of correspondence that they do. Which also makes it hard because you don't have nothing to spell check it. You know how you're going, oh my god, I wonder if this is correct or not. I guess that to remember that, you know, like, I don't ask so much for thank you. I just, you know, I did my job and I did it well. And, you know, not to worry about why I have some family members that are mad because I did get out, and they know how upsetting it is to me that I'm out. But that I'm okay with it now, you know, and that I know, like, I've seen so much and I've done so much and I've been so many places, and it made me who I am, and I did my job, and even though I got hurt doing what I believed in. It was all worth it.
You just want others to be proud of that too?
Yeah. Just with respect and honor. My concluding words would be actually and I said this during, I spoke at a citywide church event on Veterans Day. And to remember that life is too short, you know, it's over with before you know it. And that, you know, every veteran has a story, and every soldier has a tale, and it starts back from the World War II vets and everybody that has came before. And I would just hope that this would show that we're all the same, you know, that we just win a place so that others didn't have to do it, you know. And it wasn't our job. It was because, you know, we didn't get paid good. We did it because we wanted to. We wanted to keep stuff away from home. And that to accept and, you know, to give a different light on how people look at veterans. Especially student veterans, because you have a lot of them that are a lot older or are younger, and they're still trying to refine themselves. And, you know I have a couple friends here that, you know, they don't think that they belong because they commute and, you know, they haven't been in school for so long, but yet we're just the same, you know. And appreciate, and to definitely look at the little things in life and appreciate the little things in life, because that is one thing every soldier who has been to combat realizes, is that, you know, it's the little things. And to always tell people how you feel, you know, always don't take things for granted.
Or the land.